Hello everybody, Mikey here, Urban's Post. Like I always say, and fellas, we are playing It Gets So Lonely here. This is a visual novel game about a yandere. And as you fellas know, I'm completely horribly down bad for anything yandere. So yeah, let's get into it. Yeah, I don't really know what else to really say before we get in here. You're running through a forest. It is late at night into the woods. I just got an achievement for starting the game. I might actually turn off my face cam tonight, because I don't want to cover up the art. So no Burns post tonight. No Bernie posty. Well, what up, Henry? What up, Goob? It is late at night and the sky is black as pitch. There is nothing to light your way to save from the moon's moon's milky glow, but its rays cannot reach you properly. The trees that which surround you jutting out of the earth like eerie monuments to a foreign god, bloating out most of the light. You cannot see where you are going. Even if you had commenced your flight for a more sensible hour, however, the game's off-centered. It's not up to me. It says how it is on the thing. Yeah, you're right, Goob, that is the thing. Yeah, that's not an OBS issue. That is just the game. Actually, can I make this full screen? There we go. There is no... Why is the music all the way up? No wonder it was so loud. We'll turn it right here. Right. Even if you have commenced your flight for a more sensible hour, however, the night with the light sun to aid you, it would be a little use. You do not know where you're going. You have no map, no route, no plan. You are running like a frightened animal, anxious and nervy, with no destination in mind. You have no desire as you run, save to escape. You cannot let yourself be caught. If that were to happen, you are certain that you would be ruined. You have no choice but therefore to keep going on and on, though your feet are screaming at you for mercy. I wonder what we're running from. You have no idea how long you've been running. Time has begun to blend together, has lost all meaning. Something sharp snags at the hem of your skirt, but you do not have the luxury to pause and examine what has happened. Instead, you tug. Your skirt tears, the sound splitting through the forest, and you stumble forwards with a shocked gasp. You are free, but what cause? Your skirt has been irrevocably damaged. I hope that doesn't mean we're ass out here. It might be too late to worry about such trivial matters now, though. If you do not start running again, and soon, she will catch you. Oh god. I should have played this when Obsession came out. Then your life will be over. No, what I checked on Steam, we should be good. We should be good on... I did check to make sure I didn't accidentally get another hentai game for stream. The tags for this one was like LGBTQ, which obviously is an issue. Visual novel. I think Yandere was a tag, but we should be fine. We should be fine, and I do have... I do have the censor ready. Then you do not know if she's still following you, but you do not want to risk looking over your shoulder. If you were to see her silhouetted beneath a tree looking at you with that swiftly sweet smile which once ensnare you, you would lose what little nerve you possess. Your legs would lock up and your blood would freeze in your veins. Then you would crumple. You would fall, but you would not hit the ground. She would be there to catch you. Did she not promise when you made that contract that you would never be alone? Wait, if we're like, I feel like if we're getting out of a contract, I don't think that's very fair. You would like to you would like to take back with that silly wish of yours, but it's too late for that. It is too late for a lot of things. All you can do is run. You run, and you run, while an icy fog swirls around your feet. One of the game reviews is I'm scared of women. That's funny. Oh, that's fun, Goob. It is cold enough to sap the heat from your body, and you shudder from it. It feels though that if you are drowning. It feels as though you are being buried alive. Your knees and your shins, meanwhile, are bleeding. You cannot endure much more of this. But if you value your own life, you must. I mean, how bad could it really be? You're running until you long last you reach a fork in the road. There are 3 paths that split off through the forest. Well, 4 if you count the path which you came. You cannot exactly double back on yourself, though, not when you have put so much effort into running forwards. You can only press on. The 3 paths are signposts posted, which is something of strange sight, given you are so deep in the forest. Dark though it might be, you have grown accustomed to the shadows. You could just about pick the writing on this old dilapidated signpost, curved and slanted though it is. I'm assuming we're running from the Yandere. I'm assuming they put us in mid-escape attempt. Your fate, if you'll forgive me sounding cliche, is in your hands. Now I wonder, which path will you take? Go to the shore, go to the village, go to the castle. I feel like we'd get, like, actual help in the village. Right? I feel like the shore is a dead end. You know what I mean? But the castle, on the other hand, I feel like could be fun. My gut's telling me castle. Go to the village, we're going castle. Is this game old? It came out in 2023, I think. So you want to go to the castle? Good idea. All decent fairy tales tend to conclude in castles once their beleaguered, put-upon heroines are finally able to wed the handsome princes they once dreamed of. Why bother trying your luck with the shore, which very well may be deserted, or the village that might be full of dirty, barefoot peasants? It is far better to skip the suffering and go straight to the grand finale. That is very sweet of you. I did not realize you had it in you to be so mercenary. I can only wonder what you will uncover during your moonlight meanderings. The night is far from over, and your adventures are only just beginning. I hope that if you brushed on upon your courtesies, they might come in handy when one is interacting with a sovereign. Royals can be temperamental after all. If you fail to treat them with the prerequisite amount of respect, you might come to regret it. So we're bootlicking. That's easy enough. I can bootlick. I can bootlick with the best of them. You follow the path that leads to the castle, supporting yourself on the weary, aching legs, which feel already at a moment's notice to detach from your hips. You are a little more than a wisp of a girl, but you've been running for so long, and your feet is so very numb. It feels like a great lumbering thing, clumsy and ungainly. I mean, I feel like the castle is the best, because you got shelter there, and castles are usually fortified. I feel like if I go to the village, I'm cooked, and I feel like the shore is a dead end. The soles of your feet are screaming at you. You need to lie down and quickly. You only hope as you continue to run that you will find a spare room available for you in the castle. You do not know what exactly will await you at the castle, but you have visions as you run past an opulent dwelling. This dwelling will surely be filled with finely furnished rooms in which you might rest your weary head. There you must be a king and queen inside the castle, you ponder, who will be kind and wise, and what are their children? That's true too, the castle might not even let me in. What of a princess? Every good castle must possess a princess who will take pity on you and your plight. You can imagine the face of this generous princess with ease, thanks to fairy tales you have read in abundance as a small child. The princess will be fair of hair and blue eyes, with soft pink lips pursed like rosebuds. Her limbs will be slender, her hands dainty, and unsullied from physical labor, and her sensibilities will be sweeter than marzipan. She will be kind to you and compassionate, just like an older sister. Whoa, hold on. Hold on. You do not know what older sisters are like, though. Or younger sisters, for that matter. Okay. I just want to say, older sisters are not kind and compassionate. Mine beat my ass. Wait a minute, this is bullshit. No. No. Older sisters are not kind and compassionate. Dude. The amount of the monsters are my sisters. I love them all. But, dude, they don't watch my streams, so I can say this all the time. You're right, we are reading a Yuri fanfic. I should keep that in mind. You're only guessing. You are not a complete fool, however. Despite your tendency to daydream, you do have a few reservations. Marnoks do not, as you know, from voracious reading, have the best track record when it comes to caring for the peasantry. Was there not a very famous queen who once said, with a cavalier wave of her hand, that hungry peasants in her kingdom should content themselves with cake, if bread was not an option? You think that might be a misquote, but the point still stands. Though royals are supposed to grant their subjects a cure in their time of need, this does not always happen. In fact, it rarely happens. I mean, I don't really know that many royals, because, like, I'm a proud American. We don't believe in royals here. But I don't know. From all the princesses I've met in video games, they've all been nice. In fact, it rarely happens. Kings and queens and princesses and princes are just people at the end of the day. They are subject to the same caprices that all humans are. Do you know any royals to say you don't know many? I know a few. If we're counting my experiences on the channel, I know at least 5. If we're talking real life, I think I actually did meet someone that had, like, royal blood in them. They can also be careless, selfish, and inconsiderate. There is no guarantee that this mythical princess of your imagination will help you. Why, there is no guarantee that this mythical princess exists at all. I don't remember, though. I could be wrong about that fact. Still, you must try. It is still this hope that keeps you going. You continue to run to the castle. It takes some time before you can finally emerge from the woods, but finally, you do it. How much time, you ask? I cannot answer that. Did I not say time had begun to lose all meaning? The forest is behind you now, at least, and all the awful nightmares which dwell within it. It's still cold, though, foggy, and very, very dark. The sun has yet to rise. You can see the moon more clearly now, though it hangs above your head, round as any pearl or orb or crystal ball. The moonlight shines down upon the castle, which looms in front of you like a cliffside. Yeah, so the narrator, I feel like the narrator has more power than we might initially think, but this wouldn't be the first time I went toe-to-toe with a narrator. That sure is a castle. The stone eddy face of the building is imposing, and it drowns you in shadows darker than the depths of the deepest ocean. The castle is not all dark, though, not like the night sky above it. When you crane your head, you can see that there are lights flickering within. If the Yandere is the narrator, that'd be fun. That'd be a nice little twist. It would appear that somebody is home. The king and queen, perhaps? What of their servants? What of, perhaps more presently, their guards? You half expect as you sit there that armor knights will accost you for daring to approach the castle of the queen and king, so blah 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 blah. Do you not know your place, foolish peasant girl with a dirty skirt? Begone with you. You are not, of course, a peasant. Your family is a wealthy one, or rather, they were before your father made a series of poor financial decisions. You do not look like a young lady right now, though, with your dirty face and your dirty skirt, which is torn at the hem. If any guards were to take you for a vagrant, it would not be surprising. But though you stand there, dithering, your filthy fingers hook in filthy skirt, you do not hear any cries. Nobody sounds the alarm. Lights might be on the inside of the castle, but there's nobody outside of its perimeter standing sentry. They write this game like how I write my scripts. There's nobody to impede your entry in the elaborate iron gates which are set into the vast stone walls about the castle exterior are open, just a crack. It would be a trivial matter to slip inside. There's nobody to stop you. Why are you trembling now, you silly thing? You have come so very far, and it'd be an act of foolishness to turn around now. Go on, go! You inhale, perhaps, in an attempt to screw up your courage, which has long last begun to fail you. And then you step forwards. You slide between the wrought iron gates, as stealthy as secretive as a thief, and then across the path that leads up to the tall, imposing structure, the domed doorway that leads into the castle itself, hewn from stone, is closed, but at a push of your palm, it swings inwards. The door creaks alarmingly as it opens, the sound loud enough to split the silence like a thunderclap. You inhale at this and glance around, your eyes darting hither and thither. If there are any guards posted about the castle's grounds, they should have all been alerted by the sound. Will they come for you at long last? This castle isn't very fortified. What if no one's here? What if this is our new house? Living in a castle doesn't sound like that bad of a place, though. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like I'd rather live in a castle than anywhere else. What will happen should they catch you? Will they throw you in the dungeons? That does not sound like a pleasant way to spend a night. That looks like more of a church. No, that's a castle. Churches don't have, like, all that. I mean, at least churches I've been to. At least you would have a roof over your head, though, and you would not have to keep walking. Your feet really do ache. You stand there and an indeterminate amount of time, your heart pounding like a panic irregular rhythm of your base of your throat. But no matter how much time elapses, no guards come. You are thankful for your good luck, though it does make you wonder. Where is everybody? Why is it almost as if all the people in the world had disappeared? Could he be the very last human left alive? You frown and you press your palm to the back of the door. You push less cautiously this time, heedless of the loud sound which splits the silence. There is no point in worrying about the guards when they might be so very well non-existent. Yo, where the fuck is everybody? I was promised Yandere. I was promised Yuri. I was promised battle. Your entry to the castle is secured. Then you take a step forward. The door swings shut behind you, and the resilient slam makes you jump. You did not expect it. Your heart knocks against your ribs and your wild eyes as you glance about. You are standing in the vast entrance hall made of stone, which splits off into any number of passages. At the very end of the hall, meanwhile, there's a large, elaborate staircase, one that extends to what seems to extend to the heavens themselves. I just realized that I'm gonna have to be reading all night, and I kind of regret that decision. I kind of regret that choice. I'm hoping for some voice acting. I don't know. I've never been to like churches have castle vibes. You know what I mean? It is dark inside the hall, but there are some numerous torches that sit in scones and wall, which are aflame. They offer some relief from the shadows. You can hear the faint sound of the wind outdoors as it moans against the castle impervious walls, though you cannot hear any footsteps. You cannot hear any voices. You cannot, more importantly, hear any people. Maybe the castle is empty. If that is the case, then, who lit those torches? It is a curious conundrum. You muster up the remains of your courage, then cry out, addressing the empty hall in a timorous voice which fails to properly fill up the space. "Hello," you say, your eyes wide. "Is anybody there?" Your voice echoes through the vast empty hall, but is met, yet again, with silence. You cannot say you are too surprised, but it is somewhat disappointing. Not one to be deterred, you try again, and again, your voice growing louder with the subsequent attempt. No matter how loud your voice, however, it fails to reach any ears. If anybody is here, they do not seem particularly sociable. That, or perhaps, they simply cannot hear you. Could they be in another room? Yes, that must be it. You'll never find that pretty fairy tale princess of your imagination if you stand idle, you know. It is time to get to work. Put those legs of yours to good use. Not knowing what else to do, is there anything else you can do? You begin to explore. You examine the rooms of the first ground floor of the castle, which are a similar scale to the impressive entrance hall, large and richly furnished, but utterly unoccupied. After some time of aimless meandering, and counting nobody save the ghost of eons past, memorialized on the portraits of the walls, you muster courage and ascend to the second floor. Yeah, I wonder where... Maybe they're asleep. It is the middle of the night. I mean, my shit would just be sleeping. You know what I mean? Straight zonked if I had a castle. This floor, too, you examine, wandering through a seemingly endless series of hallways until at long last you find a door with it is ajar. For between the crack in the door and the jamb, you can see a flickering light. Irregular, yes, but it is light nonetheless. Could it be from a fireplace? That would suggest that this room is occupied, unlike all the others. Perhaps that kindly princess you dreamed of will be waiting you in this room. It is with a trembling hand you press your palm against the door. You push it. Then you step inside the bedchamber. Oh my god, we're in somebody's room. Which unveils itself to you. Shyly, you stand in the threshold of the chamber, much to your encouragement and extinguishing gasp. The bedroom itself is gorgeous. It is a chamber so luxuriant that even the shadows can... Not even the shadows can obscure the fine craft of the furniture within it, nor the rich patterns on the walls. It is the girl inhabiting the chamber who truly takes your breath away. Lord have mercy. Sorry, I had to drink my water. Sitting upon the velvet sheets of the towering four-poster is a girl in scrumptious red gown, who seems to be of age like you. You do not have a clear view of this girl's face. Her head is bowed, and her gaze is directly downwards at her laps. You could tell from her hair, however, of her slender calves that which protrude from the beneath the hem of her dress, that she is very pretty. The girl's hair is golden, just like freshly cut wheat, but it is red of her dress that truly captures your attention. She is so striking that you cannot look away from her. The girl is not alone in the... Wait, what? The girl is not alone in her chamber either. She has a companion, though this companion is not half as endearing as she. In her lap, perched upon her velvet skirt, is a doll. Oh, that's kind of adorable. The doll's hair is that like of her mistress is golden, though much of it is hidden behind a bonnet. The girl is adjusting the china teacup held in the doll's tiny hand, while the rim of the cup glints in light which exudes from the fireplace. If the girl is of similar age to you, it seems strange that she would content herself by playing with dolls. What the fuck is wrong with having a doll? Listen, as a stuffed animal, action figure, toy owner myself, dolls are perfectly fine to have. Dude, my grandma had like a good doll collection too. It creeped me the fuck out though. Like the one time I was in her room, and I didn't go in her room often because she had this one creepy doll just like sitting that was looking at her bed. You know what I mean? Annabelle scared the shit out of me. Yeah. Is she not too old for it? We're not making fun of the doll though. If we need a place to stay, that doll might as well be Jesus Christ. This girl would be more at home, you decide, at a ball, wearing an extravagant gown, sparkling with wealthy noblemen, perhaps even princes. She should not be sitting in what you presume is her bedchamber, adjusting a teacup of a doll's hand. This is some bullshit. I'm not here for the doll slander. Dude, just before stream, I was playing with my Toy Bonnie action figure. This is some bullshit. But you are not afforded much more time to stand there, marveling at the girl, because she turns. Then she raises her head. Then her eyes meet yours. You thought the girl pretty from when you first observed her, sitting on the edge of her plush, velveteen bed, examining her doll. Now she's looking at you, however, her face illuminated by flames of the grate. You can see that you were mistaken. She's not just pretty. She's beautiful, much so it's so breathtaking. But I don't know, are dolls really creepy? Do they spook you, Henry? I don't know, that never really got me, though. Like, it's like when I was a kid, they scared me, but now as an adult, they don't really get me too bad. She looks at though as she stepped out of the pages of a picture book. She's simply too perfect to belong to this world. Perhaps she is some kind of vision, a waking dream, a hallucination. But no, she is none of those things. The doll in her lap is cold, harsh thing made of porcelain. It is unflinchingly, reassuringly real. If she was a mirage, surely she would not be able to handle physical objects like this. Ah, so you get the feeling. I guess that makes sense. For me, it's just because I watched Annabelle as a kid, and then I saw dolls, and that freaked me out. But now as an adult, I don't know. Chucky freaked out my sister a lot. It is strange, though. The doll, though immaculately made, looks oddly imperfect when compared to the girl who's holding it. She's so startlingly beautiful that she even puts man-made representations of feminine charms to shame. The sight of her make you feel rather weak. You have always had a fondness for fair maidens, haven't you? Dude, are you really about to just call us gay? Because we are playing as a girl, so they're just hitting us with a fucking "you're gay." Dude, that's crazy. You can't do this to me. You're rather hopeless when it comes to them, even worse than a knight errant from a courtly legend. I mean, princesses have always been my thing, though. Dude, I think ever since I was a little boy, my first ever crush was Princess Leia from Star Wars. Then Rosalina, Princess Peach. It really all just went downhill from there. Like, listen, princesses aren't fair. You know what I mean? Because you leave me alone. Leave me alone. No. You're rather hopeless when it comes to them. Your aesthetic appreciation is not particularly ladylike, but, well, it is not every day a girl encounters an elegant beauty like this, attired in red, illuminated by firelight. I suppose I can forgive you for this rudeness, as too can the girl. She does not seem to be the type to hold a grudge. Oh, the girl says in a voice that surprisingly enough is far less refined than her appearance. It is good to see you. I've been waiting. Has she? That is news to you. You blink, perplexed. A response at the tip of your tongue, but you are unable to expel it into the ether. The girl is setting her doll aside, and then stands, the hem of her dress swishing about her legs. Nimbly, like a ballerina, she canvases the space between you. Her room is so very large. There's quite a lot of space. Then takes her hands in your own. You must, the girl says, and her eyes aglow with excitement, be my new lady's maid. It has been quite a while, but it's such a relief that you finally arrived. I knew that you would. Alright, maid, easy. Kurumi has prepared me for this moment. Being a maid, easy peasy, lemon squeeze. What's the worst that she could ask for? Like, I mean, no offense to actual maids, I'm sure your jobs are hard. But, like, you know, what's the worst that a princess could ask for? You know what I mean? I mean, we were on the run, so we gotta keep that in mind. You'd never leave me alone, not when you knew how long I was waiting. Oh, I'm so happy. Clean the toilet? That's easy. Cleaning the toilet ain't that bad compared to being chased in the middle of the fucking woods. The girl's mood is contagious, so much so you find yourself being swept away in it. You are tempted to accept any kind of identity that she might press upon you. You have never been a maid before, though you might not mind being this girl's maid. She does not seem like a poor mistress to serve, not if she's always this kind. Yeah, but even if she is a dick, again, we were being chased to death. There's levels here, it could be worse. You cannot mask the confusion, however, which flickers across your face. You are not a good enough actress, and in any case, this is all happening too quickly. Why, you barely know this girl. Why is she already being so familiar? It is with blank, woven eyes that you examine the girl. Your befuddlement is pronounced enough that even the girl, despite her good mood, notices it. She frowns. Then, her fingers sliding away from your own. Or am I mistaken? Are you not my new lady's maid after all? The disappointment in the girl's face is so abundant, so much so that your heart clenches. You do not know her, she's still a stranger, but you are struck, all of a sudden, with intense desire to appease her. You do not want to let her down, though the thought is devastating. You were not aware, you tell her, that you had applied to be her maid, but if that is what she wills, you would not be opposed to it. You pray that she forgives you, though your discombobulation you come from a distant country, and you have traveled for many miles. You do not know where you are, and you do not know who she is. What? You don't know who I am? It is regrettable, you tell her, but no, you do not know her, though that is no fault of her own. Why, you spent so much time running that you hardly even know yourself. Ah, so you're a fugitive from another country, I see. I won't pry into your past then, if you'd rather forget about it. And I don't mind sharing my past with you, though. Claire, I don't know who that is. Everybody in this country knows who I am, after all, or at least they should. Now, this is quite the impressive boast if it were to come from lips of another, but you would find it unpleasantly arrogant. You do not think, however, that this girl is trying to show off. You get the feeling, instead, that she's merely telling the truth. Yuri novel. Don't ask how I know. I know what you are, Henry. I know what you are. If you do not have the pleasure of knowing me, then allow me to do the honors. My father and mother were king and queen of this realm, and I am its princess. I've lived in this castle all my life, so I don't know much about the outside world, but I do know that other countries exist out there. I presume it's from one of the foreign countries that you come from. It is very good to meet you. I've always wanted to talk to somebody from overseas. It feels like quite the opportunity. Hee hee. I don't get to hit you guys with the hee hee every often, so I just hit you guys with the hee hee. The girl giggles at this, and you smile in response. You tell her, unthinkingly, that it is your pleasure, really, to meet her, at least you mean to. You only get halfway through this remark when the full gravity of what the girl has told you sinks in. You come to a stop, then you stare. Did she just say she was a princess? I mean, we're already in a castle. Nothing to say about that. I mean, if she's never seen anybody else, maybe she just thinks all people are trashed. That's right. Yes, that's right. I'm a princess, and one day I'll be queen after I've done a little bit of growing up. My ministers don't think I'm ready to run the country just yet, but I've been doing my best at my lessons. One day, I'm sure I'll be the best queen there ever was. So, she really is a princess. That makes sense, you suppose, given she lives in a castle, but it comes as a surprise as regardless. You hadn't known before you entered this chamber that you were trespassing on a lady of such great renown. Well, as she willed it, she could have you executed for your carelessness. An ugly red flush creeps up upon your face, which is far flushed more than lured than the princess's red dress. You look at your feet. Bashfully, you stammer out in a new dress that you are very, very sorry for intruding upon her, and that you hope that she could forgive you. Oh, it is all right. Think of nothing of it. I don't mind, really. We all make mistakes. And anyway, you weren't to know. You said that you weren't from around here? You nod your head in silent affirmation. It isn't a complete lie. You are really not from this country. You are not from this world at all. How wonderful. I'll look forward to picking your brain later. All of my servants come by from the nearby village. Their tales are all the same, so they are superstitious. I could do with a breath of fresh air. My last lady's maid told me I was too impertinent, but I don't think there's anything wrong with wanting a bit of an adventure. No, nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with wanting to get out and see the world. Not that I've been afforded much of that. I've been shut up in here for so long, I hardly regularly get the chance to talk to other girls my age. My last lady's maid was older than me, so the one before that was her, and the one before her. Some of the prince's fair mood seemed to dissipate as he speaks upon her expression, turning by degrees into something rather more pensive. I don't know, Henry. You're just gonna be quoting different novels, aren't you? See, the only visual novels I know of before this game was Scarlet Hollow, Slay the Princess, and Doki Doki. But I haven't seen any of my old lady's maids in a while, or any of the other servants for that matter. They've all disappeared. Now that is quite curious. How could a whole household of servants simply disappear? That I don't know. This castle was full of servants once. My lady's maids, and my undermaids, and my culinary maids, and my housekeeper, and my cooks, and a large retinue of retainers. They're all gone now, though. I think my ministers must have sent them away. I don't know why they would have done that, though. They didn't explain it to me. There's an anime. I don't know. Animes kind of freak me out. Like, I like Danganronpa and Dragon Ball, but like I tried watching other ones and they just get too weird. But then again, they never explain anything to me. They still treat me like I'm a little girl. It is so tiring. She said that her ministers sent her servants away. What of her parents, the king and queen? Would they not be the ultimate authorities on the castle's hierarchy? They would, yes, if they were still alive, but they are not. They died a long time ago. I was raised most of my life by my servants. Oh, you answer, then you flush. You hadn't known. It is alright, you don't need to apologize. I'm just happy that I have you now. I was getting sick and tired of only having my dolls to speak to, and they aren't the best conversational partners. Oh my god, she was actually talking to her dolls. Is it like just me? I love that trope. I don't know, just something about people talking to objects I always find cute whenever they do it in games. You can imagine so, yes. You doubt any doll, even the one made by a talented artisan, with an intelligent face, indestructible from humans, would be very good at answering back. Oh, no, they aren't. They are hopeless at it, really. They're always so stormy-lipped. Henry, you're my viewer. You can't be cute. That's just how it is. All of you guys are ugly to me. You gotta remember that. You know what I mean? It's like it's like my niece asking me if she's cute. Like, yeah, I guess. You know what I mean? No, my fucking niece is cute as a button, though. The shit she'll do. Shit, man. My fucking niece. Dude, I love all my niece and my nephews, dude. I'd give the world for them. Dude, I forgot to tell you guys this yesterday. My nephew, the one that was screaming yesterday, he loves cars, like the movie, right? And he has this one car from the movie, and I don't know if this car is actually in the movie or just one they made after. And his first name is Hall, and its last name is like Ling Ass. So when you put it together, it's hauling ass, and I think that's really funny. It's one of his favorites too. I don't think he doesn't understand the bit, but my sister and I were giggling at it. You have no idea how much the castle's so big, and without any new servants, it feels very empty. It gets so lonely here. She said it. She said the line, fellas. Now that is an interesting turn of phrase. It catches inside your head like a burr. Have you heard it before? You do not have so much time to ponder this, because the princess is speaking anew in a curiously conversation manner of hers that which do not particularly seem princessy. Maybe she learned how to speak from her servants. That would explain why her consonants are so unrefined. Oh, but listen to me, yammering on again. It is a bad habit. I really must put a stop to it. You're probably tired, dear one, from your travels. Would you like me to show you to your room? Yes, the princess announces, before you can say anything in reply. I think I'll just do that. I might show you a bit around the castle first, though. It's like a maze in here, and I wouldn't want you getting lost. You'll be staying here for quite some time, after all. Have I just gotten kidnapped? I'm alright with this fate. If it's a princess, I'm okay with this. Fellas, I'm sure the ending isn't to be like, oh, stay with one of your captors. I don't know. Fortunately, she does not show all the rooms in her abode. Neither does she offer overly long descriptions of what the few rooms she does show off are used for. She does, however, pause by the kitchens, where she offers you some victuals. Once the growling in your belly has been satisfied, the princess resumes her journey. She seems pretty chill so far. You know what I mean? She seems pretty nice, giving us some food. Right? Not being totally pissed that someone broke into her house. You know what I mean? She leads you down to a dark, twisting hallway and up a series of equally dark, twisting steps until she arrives, at long last, before a door. The princess pushes this door aside summarily, thus permitting your entrance to the small, humble bedchamber. This chamber is not half as opulent as the grand bedroom as the princess resides in, with its four-poster and richly patterned wallpaper. I don't know, man. I'm kind of rocking with the princess so far. This room's ceiling is not as high, and with a singular bed shoved against the wall, is thin and narrow. The walls are unassuming and beige, and the floor beneath your soles is warped of wood. There is a Maldurlian scent which hangs in the air, one of disease, and general decay. You get the feeling that nobody has slept in this room for quite some time. That might explain why it feels so very cold in here, though if the princess's tour of her castle has taught you anything, that it is cold in every room of her abode. Now here we are, the final stop of our tour. This will be your room, dear one. I hope it is to your liking. The princess, despite all of her exalted status, looks somewhat uneasy as she observes you, her eyes upturned like those of a loyal dog. She is concerned about your reaction to this room. Perhaps she is afraid that you'll turn your nose up at her kindness. For a princess, she is awfully eager to please. Henry, don't do that. Stop it. For a princess, this is unexpected contrast between the princess's lofty title and her engrading of the attitude makes you smile. The room is rather scanty, yes, and when it comes to its contents, but it is more than passable, considering you were just running out the road. I mean, you're still living in a castle, even if your room is trash. It has a roof and full walls, and though it is cold, you fancy you'll feel warmer once you slip beneath the bed sheets. I like cold rooms, though. I got my fan on currently. I'm a big fan of cold stuff. The room is not quite as fancy to your dormitory at Hansverd, and neither is it so large, but it does have one glaring improvement over your previous lodgings. You will be not to be expected to share it with anybody else. There is only one bed in this room, and this bed belongs to you. That you will think that peace and quiet will do you a world of good. You tell the princess as much, and she smiles. That's good. I was worried you wouldn't like it. Hee hee. I know it isn't much to look at, but it is one of our nicest servants' rooms we have in the castle. Most of the maids sleep beneath the roof, in this teeny tiny room, which is all cramped. There's 10 beds up there, so they're so close together, barely any room to get past between them. I thought it was perfectly ghastly when I saw it the last time I went up there. Not that I was supposed to be up there. It was a rainy day and I couldn't go outdoors, so I was doing a bit of exploring. Henry, that's fucking insane. Yeah, it did get censored. Henry, dog, I'm gonna need you. You're at a 10? I'm gonna need you to bring it down to like a 6 for me, alright? If the housekeeper known I've been sulking around, I don't think she would have been best pleased. Well, in any case, nobody sleeps up there anymore. The skirtingly maids are all gone. I couldn't put you up there, though, in the attic with all those empty beds. I don't think it'd be very cheery. You're not just a skirly maid, you're my lady's maid. That means you deserve good lodgings. It'd be an insult to offer you anything less than this. So we are a maid. Dude, this has all the perfect workings of a tale, though. I'm down for this. Now, it's getting late. You'll have to forgive me for rabbiting on, but I've heard something I tend to do. It's a bad habit, one that's unbecoming for a lady. I don't mind a yapper. I don't mind. The housekeeper's warned me enough times. You reassure the princess to the contrary, smiling as you do so. You do not mind if she talks too much. Then it is better not talking at all. Her affable nature makes it easier to spend time with her. Manners be damned. Fuck, Henry, you're right. I wish, dude, because, like, you gotta think lady's maid must pay a lot. Actually, how much? How much does being a rich person's maid pay? Between $65,000 and $150,000 per year. Fellas, YouTube I might have to cut out this YouTube shit and start being a maid. You guys want maid boy post? That's fine, easy peasy. Dude, fuck this YouTube shit. Yeah, sorry, fellas. You're always scolded, too, back in the conservatory for your behavior. You know full well how aggravating it could be to be unbraided, not for any particular misdemeanor, but for being yourself. Well, I'm glad you understand, the princess answers with a giggle. I really should be off, though. It's bad manners to keep you, especially when you look so sleepy. Get some rest. We could talk more tomorrow if you don't mind my ceaseless prattle. I'm glad you seem to appreciate it, at least. Though I'm sure you'll get tired of it eventually. All my old maids did. Hee hee. Hit you with the hee hee again. The princess departs. In her absence, you take a seat upon your bed. Your new bed. You cannot help but think this is all happening very quickly. It does not seem that long ago that you were still in the forest, running for your life amongst the tall, imposing trees with their gnarled, grasping branches. The forest might be very well a distant memory now, though. You are indoors, inside of a castle no less. You have been given a room in which to sleep in and clothes that you might wear. It seems premature to declare yourself you're not out of the woods, in a metaphorical sense I mean, but things could be certainly worse. You force yourself to stand on legs feeling too weary to support you, and chain into the night clothes hanging in the wardrobe. The night clothes do not fit you perfectly, but you are too tired to care about that. You are too tired to care about much of anything. You retreat to the bed and slip beneath its sheets. Then you let your eyelids fall shut. You exhale. And lured by the breeze that blow outdoors, you fall asleep. You are so very tired, and your sleep is a deep, dark one. Darker, even furthest in the abyss of your nighttime. Like the nighttime sky, however, with shimmers of stars, the sleep is not devoid of the permissive fragments of you humans call dreams. No shower? That's alright. You've had a busy day. A shower's not... You can be a morning shower. Though in this case, I'd rather you think nocturnal imaginings are worth rather more than that. They are not dreams. They are vividly slumbering mind of subjective. You know they are not. Otherwise, your body would not be so very cold, so clammy. The images flicker of your closed eyelids, like ghostly images in a phantoscope, were not conjured from within your mind. They were instead taken from your memories. You are not merely dreaming, you are remembering. You remember the girls who slept in your dormitory, and how they always hastened to use the shower first, so you were last for breakfast. You remember how you finally did arrive at the dining hall. The most desirable morsels have already been snaffled up by the girls who got there earlier. You struggled, too, to find a seat once you finally got your hands on some food, because nobody ever wanted to sit with you. The other girls all acted like you were a leper, save for when they wanted favors. They never asked for these favors, mind. Why would they? To them, your father's prestige did not matter. They were all wealthy ladies, too, many of them wealthier than you. Well, when everybody has the airs and graces of a princess, how is anybody supposed to stand out? You stood out the least in your class. Perhaps you were one of the smallest, frailest, sickliest when it came down to the cold winter. Your poor health did not stop all the other girls from treating you as a servant, though, when they remembered you have existed, of course. It was your lot in life, as you dwell within the stone walls of the conservatory, to carry out school bags across the field like a pack mule. Then come the evenings when the girls in your dormitory had you sewing on missing buttons and ironing the creases out of the wrinkling uniforms. If there was an odd job that needed performing, you would always be asked. But these girls did not ask you. That would have been too civilized. They ordered you instead, and as they ordered you, laughed at you. They laughed and laughed and laughed. The laughter hurt, but considerably hurt less than the kicks did, and the slaps and the pinches. Damn, so our fucking girl had a rough life, huh? Damn. Could not be me. I dropped out of college and became a YouTuber instead. And you guys should too. No, I'm kidding. Once, during an embroidering lesson, one of your classmates had an accident with her sewing scissors. She stumbled early, she pretended to you, and before you knew it, the silvery braids of those scissors were embedded in your left palm. This happened quite some time ago, but even when you're literaler than you are now, but you can still remember it. It hurt a lot. Middle school was rough for me, but middle school was rough because I didn't understand social cues. Now, as an adult, I feel like I would kill in middle school. The scissors were sharp, and they were perforating your skin, not all the way down to the bone, but enough to bleed. Your wound bled bright red, like strawberry jam, all over your embroidery. Then your professor saw it. She shrieked. Her face turned pale as she looked, and for a few moments thought she might faint, though you were the one who was in pain. Dude, real. Your professor looked at your face, and she could not bear to look at your hand, and demanded to know why you could not be more careful. Her tone had been an accusatory one, as if you'd stabbed yourself in the hand with your scissors to goad her. The pain in your hand hurt, but the giggles of your persecutors hurt all the more. They never were punished for that. Perhaps your professor did not care enough to punish them. Perhaps she, like everyone else, thought it was all your fault. The wound, when it was all said and done, was not too deep. You did not even need any stitches. It healed well in enough time on its own, though it still left a scar, white, raised thing, like a crescent moon. Did I ever tell you? This reminds me of a story I have where I almost cut off my middle finger on my left hand. And it was my own fault. It's not like anybody else did it to me, because my brother had this machete because he fished a lot. So he'd like cut the fish with it. And as a kid, I thought swords was like the coolest thing. So my dad went to take a nap, and I was like, oh, I'm just going to bring my brother's machete up to our room, right? And so I'm walking up the stairs, and I fucking open the machete, and, like, it perfectly cut my shit. Like, this shit's like a perfect line. I still have a scar. I doubt it would pick up on camera. This is a funny story. This isn't a sad one. I remember running down the stairs screaming, get a towel! Dude, that shit was like a fountain, dude. Like, I don't think I've ever lost that much blood before or since in my life. Like, it was crazy. Like, I remember fading in and out. Good times, good times. I went to the hospital, everything's all fine. My brother apologized and gave me Starbucks, so, you know, can't really be too upset. You still have that scar. You do not know how much blood you lost. It seemed like a lot back in the classroom. You could smell it in the air, sharp as iron, but you could not have been that very much, evidently. If your wound had been more serious, perhaps your professor might have cared. Perhaps your classmates, too, if you felt some monochrome of guilt over what they did. But this seems very unlikely. Can we get back to the princess, please? You know that the blood meant nothing to your classmates. Bringing a toy gun to class, real. Why should it? If you meant next to nothing, then the blood in your veins, if it was such a thing as possible, was even more inconsequential. You feel disoriented when you wake, at long last, with the rising of the sun. You do not remember what you dreamt, but you do not think that your dreams are particularly of pleasant nature. If they were, your heart would be not hammering so. Ill at ease, you glance around. You are lying in a narrow bed in an unremarkable room, one with dull beige walls and a warped wooden floor. See that? I'm assuming it was just like show that it was morning. Where exactly are you? This does not look like your dormitory in the conservatory, not unless it has shrunk threefold overnight. Your brow furrows as you attempt to recall the events of the night prior until you gasp. It all clicks into place. You remember now. You are running through the woods, trying to escape from... You shudder. You do not want to think of it as you were trying to escape from. You presume that it must have been giving your hunter... You must have given your hunter the slip, although because you were still in one piece, awake and alert to the fact that you're dawning of a new morning. You still have all of your limbs, and your facial features appear to be in the correct configuration. That more than enough to be getting along with. You look at the foot of your bed, then blink, bemused at your discovery. You can see lying upon the sheet a garment, two garments actually, a black and white, folded into a neat white square. What could that be, a maid's outfit? If so, it would not be too surprising. You can now recall your visit with the princess with the night prior and necessitations that you must be her lady's maid. Well, if that's the role she wants you to assume, then you should. It is far more preferable than the role you played last night, that of a startled quarterly, running from its pursuer. You press your fingers against the humble maid attire. It feels surprisingly soft to the touch, not too coarse, like you expected. The clothes are rather fine. Did the princess put them here? If so, that is all the more reason to wear them. You are not careless enough to deny her hospitality. You rise from your new bed, then undress yourself, unbuttoning the front of your plain white nightgown and setting it aside. This task is accomplished, you clad yourself in the new attire, black, white, and admittedly sensible. Dude, imagine waking up, like, you're just a maid now. Like, we didn't agree to this. I'm not opposed to this, I should say. But it is funny that bam, just made, boom. We're having soft tacos later. You feel very far away from the night that you feel very away that the girl that you once were. Your face might be the same as always, but something within you seems to have changed. You are no longer a student as long as you need to reside within the princess's castle. So we're ignoring any showers, it's alright. You would far rather be her servant. Assured of your newfound identity, you retreat from your chamber and then make your way to your mistress's bedroom. The castle is large, one with many, many rooms and many, many hallways to connect them, and for a brief while you find yourself horrendously lost. You cannot remember where the princess's bedroom is. You are beginning to feel rather disoriented when you relieve your eyes, snag upon the stairwell, which looks unfamiliar. Could this be the way? You ascend these steps, your footfalls cushioning by the plush carpets that line them. You find your way down to the very same hall you traversed the night prior. Nitpicky, that's funny. If your memory does not fail you, then the princess's bedroom ought to be... Yes, it is here. You rap upon the door, but receive nothing of a way of response. Is the princess still abed? You wonder briefly whether you ought right to wait till she has risen of her own accord, but no. The sun is high in the sky, then it seems a shame to let the princess sleep through the day. You ought instead arouse her. That seems like a duty of the lady's maid to attend to. You enter the princess's bedroom and glance about. Her room looks much the same as you remembered from the night prior, though the ceiling seems even higher when viewed in the warm morning's light. You can now see that there's fewer shadows that appear to your view how very optimal of your mistress' abode is. Her amour is large and imposing. The grate which you will still be expected keeps fire lit during the nights. The princess herself, meanwhile, is curled on her side beneath the sheets, looking rather less grandiose than her title would suggest. She's attired in a nightgown adorned with frills, and her hair split across her pillow like spilled gold. In her slender arms, meanwhile, under the chest is the doll, the very same one she was cosseting last night. You suppose this doll must be her favorite. Idly, you wonder what the doll's name is, though you do not suppose it matters all that much. It is time to wake your mistress. You call out to the princess, but she is largely unresponsive, her eyelashes still sewn tightly, and her lips pursed in slumber. You purse your lips too, and sighed. Well, nobody ever said your job would be easy. Waking someone up is like the easiest thing. You just give them a little shake. So she sleeps with dolls? Dude, what else do you do with them? I feel like that is the second, biggest thing you gotta do. Right? You play with them, take them to tea parties, and you sleep with them. Once again, you call to the princess, and this time she replies. Her response is not a favorable one, however. She sighs and turns away from you, her doll still clutched to her chest. Give to me a little longer. The princess sounds so enfeebled, but you do not take pity on her. If you have learnt anything from the conservatory, save for knowledge pertaining to the respiratory tracts of fish, that it was cruel. You must be cruel to be kind. Fair enough. You do not. That's why I sleep with plushies, because of porcelain dolls, I feel like that would break easily. But the princess clearly has a lock on it. You do not think this adage is persist with any great success in the conservatory. Perhaps it will be more of impact upon the princess. You tell her once again, wake up, more sternly this time. You will not let her sleep, for she slept long enough already. It is very solvently really that it would be such a bed at this hour. Oh, defeated princess sighs. Alright, I can see that I can't twist you around my little finger. I'm up. You don't need to nag me. Real. Once you have roused the princess from her bed, you have put her doll to one side. You sit upon her toilette. You aid the princess in the brushing of her hair, which is a chore that she submits willingly, like a cat might allow for its fur to be brushed. You allow yourself to ponder as you run through the bristles of the princess's brush through her hair, how wonderfully soft it feels against your skin. What a curious query from the princess. Are you alright, dear one? Brings you back to your senses. You were rather lost in thought there. You look lively now. You wouldn't want the princess to catch wind of your salacious thoughts, would you? I thought you had learnt your lesson on that already. Suitably chastened, you finish the princess's hair, then set the brush aside. Now that the princess's tresses have been taken care of, you must set upon her attire. The princess remains seated upon the edge of her bed, looking at you at abundance. She does not ask you to avert your eyes, or does she make any emotion of disseveling herself of her nightgown. It really does not seem that she expects you to undertake this task on your own. Is that all right? You ask the princess, as much as you would not wish to impinge on her modesty, but she only laughs. Yes, that is all right. What are you supposed to do if you be my lady's maid? I am used to being dressed and undressed. I am not squeamish about it. She might not be squeamish about it, but you are. You have never seen a naked woman before excepting yourself. Even then, however, you've always dressed and undressed furtively, not wanting to examine your body for longer than is strictly necessary. See, that could not be me. When I'm naked, I, admire my body. I think I'm the sexiest man ever to exist. You know what I mean? I got it all. I got the tits. I got the ass. You know what I mean? You never much like the way that you look. I cannot relate to this protagonist at all. Like, in high school, I had, body image issues, but I think everybody has that in high school. You know what I mean? I'm just him. You know what I mean? I only get one body, and damn, do I love mine. You make a few more mumbled objections, but the princess sweeps them one side easily. It is alright, I may be a princess, but we are both people underneath all our clothes. I doubt we will look much different. You are not so sure about that. You have not seen the princess unadorned, but you already look at her face. You are different. She is much, much prettier than you are. But she's waiting, and you do not wish to keep her any longer. You steady your nerves. I am just gonna do a quick little... just to make sure, I don't know. But right, just as a check. Okay, it's censored. Alright, word. I don't have to worry. Just had to do the check, right? Just had to do the check. I don't know, for me, I've always, cause, I don't know, when I was younger, I had a lot of, self-acceptance issues, but I don't know, nowadays, I, realize that I am him. I'm satisfied with who I am. Now, granted, I weigh the same as Freddy Fazbear, because last night, such a nice scene I'm talking over here. Last night, me and my buddy, we were talking about getting that new Freddy Fazbear animatronic from Spirit of Halloween. And I googled how much does a Freddy Fazbear weigh, right? And Freddy weighs 250 pounds, and I weigh 250 pounds. So I'm exactly one Freddy Fazbear heavy. Then you reach out trembling hands as you begin to undo the buttons that run the princess's nightgown. You work as quickly as you were able, which, given how badly your hands are shaking, is not very. You fumble with a couple of the buttons, flinching as you do so. The princess, however, seems blissfully unaware of what exactly you are doing, or not doing with your fingers to begin to seize up, with the front of her nightgown. She's not even looking at you. Instead, her gaze is directed beyond your shoulder, to the windowsill and the sky above it. Shut the fuck up, Henry. Henry, I will ban you. Henry, I will send you to the Shadow Realm. It isn't particularly sunny, but I don't think it's too cold outside. Going for a walk might not be a bad idea. What do you think, dear one? You think that you would like to finish undressing the princess as soon as possible so you can make some progress on dressing her again. The sight of all this, the exposed skin, is bad for your heart. Fortunately, you were able to make quick work of the princess's nightgown despite your initial mishaps, spurred on perhaps by your anxiety. You bid the princess to stand, which she does, and neatly she steps out of her nightgown, her motions once again as graceful as fluid as a dancer's. This task completed, you search hurriedly, worried for the princess's red dress. Where is it? You cannot find it. Sweat begins to prickle on the back of your neck. Your palms, meanwhile, feel uncomfortably clammy. The moments pass awkwardly, uneasily, as you search the princess is standing there, all while as naked as the day she was born. Why did you not find her day dress before you stripped her of her night one? What a fool you are! The princess, noting your panic, giggles. Are you looking for my dress? Yes, you reply, your face flushed. That is what you were doing. I thought so. I did wonder before you started undressing me why you did not ask where it was. Maybe it slipped your mind? Dude. So our player character is down horrible. It slipped your mind, yes, but to your shame. You were too busy trying not to fixate upon the princess's bare skin to think about how best to conceal it. My dress is in my amour, the princess says, glancing over to the aforementioned piece of furniture. The amour of hers is completely intricately carved a wooden structure, large enough that you would estimate to fit inside enough dresses to attire a whole ballroom's worth of princesses. I'd like to wear the red one. It's my favorite. Would you be a dear and fetch it for me? I don't want to rush you, but it is rather cold in here, especially when I'm still naked. Dude's peak. She's peak. I made the right choice with the princess, I feel like. Made the right choice. Made the right call. She raises a good point. You turn away from the princess and make your way to her amour. Once there, you open its wooden doors and pursue the clothes hanging within, just as you expected. She is sure bolder than a boulder. You are right. The boulder! Inside the wardrobe lines numerous dresses, all of them finely stoned and decorated with no shortage of ribbons, lace, and iridescent pearls. You find the princess's red dress and soon enough hurry to her side. There we go. With your spoils at hand, you hurry to dress her, concealing once again the princess's pale skin beneath layers upon layers of soft red velvet. She is easier to look at now, you think, with her skin concealed. That might have been the most nerve-wracking task you have ever had to accomplish, even more so than your perilous escape from the foggy forest. Why, it seems a miracle that you still remember how to breathe. Aha, that's so much better! Thank you, dear one, for your help. You have not been here for a full day, but I already wonder what I would do without you. Ah! Shyly, you assure the princess that you did nothing, really nothing beyond your job. You did not do anything incredible, and in any case, being complimented by somebody so pretty is embarrassing. Aw, don't be like that. I want to compliment you. Why shouldn't I when you've been so helpful? It'd be rude not to anyway. I think you're very pretty too. Damn! The princess is trying to rizz us up, fellas. But this won't work on me. I've never been rizzed up before. Yes, I have. Multiple times, especially on this channel. Oh my. Your face flushes from this more deeply than before. You ought to count yourself lucky, really, with all this excessive blushing, that the princess does not seem to possess any vampiristic tendencies. You're making yourself quite the easy target. Oh my god, that would be the prank of the century. We were promised YURIGEM, but instead we got het slop. By the way, I stand by tonight's title being one of my funniest. Now, the princess declares, why don't we go for a walk? It is a nice enough day, and I get so easily bored of being cooped up inside. You can't think of any particular objections to raise this remark, so you think the princess might have a point. The castle, though expansive, is somewhat stifling. The walls are so very thick and put you in the mind of a crypt. With your acquire as a sword, the princess quits her chamber posture and elegant and hurried. She seems not to walk as she navigates her way through the seemingly endless hallways of her home, but to float like a cloud. The hem of her dress swishes around her legs, and her hair shifts like a shroud. The castle's courtyard, meanwhile, is sadly lacking in comparison to the princess's beauty. The courtyard is fenced off by the castle's walls, in which look start by midday light, and a tall and imposing faceless soldiers standing sentinel. Though the sun is out, it is not particularly bright, and neither is it particularly warm. The courtyard itself, meanwhile, is in a state of disarray. Their flower beds are in shambles, all overgrown with weeds. Beats me to down bad, down horrible. It is all rather depressing. The princess's castle might be grand in scale, but the courtyard itself is simple, hemmed in a claustrophobic degree like a coffin. The princess, however, seems not to share your dolorous mood. She, instead, looks elated by her newfound surroundings, her smile unwavering. She gambols about like a lamb, filtering and tithering as she examines the weed-infested flower beds. Her frolic becomes a cease, however, by a bush. One is full of bright red roses. Oh, how very pretty! Do you not think they're gorgeous, dear one? The flowers are are not too disappointing, you suppose. They make for a fine spectacle, a welcome splash of color when contrasted with the dullness and drabness that permeates the yard. Though, through other flowers in the bed are wilted, withered things, there is not so far for these roses. They are rich, bright red, like blood, their heads so fully pale they seem to droop among the weight of their own engorged petals. They are pretty, in a sense, but there is something unsettling about them, something that is almost obscene. How have these roses become so very red? What has been sustaining them? Could it be possible that these roses have been draining the life from the other flowers which are struggling to grow within this garden? It is a fanciful thought, but... Oh, they are simply divine. Looking at these roses always lifts my spirit. They really are my most favorite of flowers. Our girl likes red, so we can keep that in mind. Red and roses. We got pretty dresses, roses, going outside. I simply must pick some of them. Perhaps I can use them to decorate my bedchamber. It could use a bit of color. The princess reaches to pluck one of the roses free from its resting place and the brethren. You watch her, your breath braided, anxious that the gesture might result in perforated fresh and bright red blood. But the princess is not as clumsy as you fear. Of course she's not. Who did you think she was? You? Damn. Boom, roasted. The narrator can kind of stop calling us out, though. Rather than worrying about other people, you'd be better off served if you worried more about yourself. The princess holds her new purple roses into her nose and inhales. Her eyelids falling shut as the flower seat scent rushes over her. A few moments of silence pass, and the princess begins to toys with the petal that adorn the flower's crown. Now, let me see. I wonder what fate has stored for me. She loves me. The princess plucks a petal from the flower's abreviated head. She loves me not. The princess continues with the child incantation, all was stripping her rose, slowly methodical of its petals. These petals flutter about the princess like bloody snow. The princess's voice, meanwhile, echoes through the courtyard, even more melancholic, strains of Panola. She loves me not, she loves me not. The princess's finger hovers over the final petal which crowns the nearby wounded flower. Then with a triumphant smile, she declares, she loves me, I knew it. So she does like girls. Dude, we are going to get our player character laid, fellas. That's the plan. Poor fuck the flower. This is why the red flower wasn't in Deltarune. This is why the red flower wasn't in Deltarune. The little mantra she had been reciting is one that you are familiar with. The girls at the conservatory also engaged in this little game. The younger ones, at least, to regain the fairy tale prince would whisk them away. You might have participated in this game yourself when you were a child, but never pinned your hopes and dreams on a handsome prince. I'd played this game as a kid, and fucking fellas, let me tell you, it did not work for you, boy. Yeah, dude, it did not work for me at all, dude. Your interest in the princess have always been minimal. When it comes to fair princesses, though, well, that is a different matter altogether, isn't it? Pleasantly, you ask the princess, whose love as he wishes to court, a queer that makes the princesses giggle. Oh, dear one, who else would I be thinking of? Naturally, I was thinking of you. Oh my god, dude. Naturally. She says it so easily, as though you thought you might have suspected as much, and indeed, part of you did. You wanted to believe, yet part of you were afraid to. You did not want to be arrogant enough to assume that the princess might care for your affections. You begin to blush, your cheeks almost as red as the roses, as while the princess laughs. Fast, dude. I mean, if you were alone for a while, and then someone comes in, starts taking care of you, I don't know, I might be down bad too. She laughs and laughs, her voice clear and sweet, like night chill song. Though you were the funniest thing that she's ever seen. You never liked being laughed at, even when you dwelt within the walls of the conservatory, but it is different with her. You have not known her for all that long, but you're already entranced by her, ensnared. She has you wrapped around her little finger. Oh my, the princess's laughter taps on a series of giggles, smiling as she wipes her eyes with the back of her hand. That was quite the amusing diversion, but I've had an idea. You look at the princess curiously. What idea? You can't tell. You cannot even begin to guess. I just thought that all this watching must be boring you, the princess says, tossing the roses carelessly to the ground. You should give it a try. Do it, please. It'll be fun. The princess retrieves a second red rose from the bushes, finally snapping it between her fingers, and offers it to you. I want to see what fate has in store for you, too. You smile at the princess, touched by her enthusiasm. Indulging in childish games like this might not be the best use of your time, but the princess looks very so determined. Would you not wish to hurt her? What could be the harm in really consultating? The only real casualty of the game will be the one singular rose, the rose that the princess is holding towards you. You reach out, meaning to accept the princess's offering, but, oh no! You are clumsy, and you seize the stem of the rose with too much strength. The head of the rose might be pretty, but there is more rose than bright flowers. Roses have thorns, too, an effect that you're now painfully reminded of. The plane thirsts with your fingers, and you gasp. You take a step back of your skirt, wishing around your ankles. Your finger is stinging, and so are your eyes. You ought to be more careful. Why were you so stupid? You poor dear, you are bleeding, the princess explains, alarmed. Then she frowns. This is all my fault. If I had not suggested this silly game, it never would have happened. Please, let me take care of you. And how is she going to do that? Perhaps she needs a handkerchief from her pocket, which she certainly might from your wound. The princesses tend to carry handkerchiefs around them, don't they? Silken ones. How else would they have been given knights of their token of gratitude once their aforementioned knights have successfully with dragons? I'm thinking vampire, Henry. I'm thinking vampire. Princesses can hardly dispense kisses as favors. Simply is not done. That is what you always thought, but... Please, hold still. This might sting a little bit. The princess is anything but ordinary. She instead encloses her white, slender fingers around your hand. Carefully, though, as a prophetologist, she raises your hand. Her eyes afflicts you, sharing crimson blood oozing from your wound. She licks her lower... Yep, it's fucking vampire time. Yep, it's fucking vampire time. Then she dips her head. Rose red. Your blood is redder. She parts her mouth as a single stud border, and she sips your injured digit between her teeth. So we now know what our player character looks like, so that's good. So much for princesses not dispensing kisses as token of appreciation. This might not be a conventional kiss, but it feels intimate regardless, almost startlingly slow. The princess's lips, which are rather as red as any rose, are enclosed around your index finger. You can feel the warmth of the princess's mouth around your skin and the wetness of it. She does look like Teto, doesn't she? Dude, I'm alright with that. If we get Teto laid, I'm okay with that. The sensation make your whole body quake. You did not expect this. Tremulously in a voice which wavers, you ask the princess what is she doing. Oh, the princess glances at your mouth. Didn't I tell you? I'm trying to stop the bleeding. Oh, so not a vampire. Yes, you gathered as much, but is there a problem? I'm not making you uncomfortable, am I? Quite the opposite. You're good. It is not that you say that she's making you uncomfortable, per se, but this is rather awkward. You did just not expect it, is all. And she's not worried that this is unhygienic? Unhygienic. The princess is blank, the very picture of innocence, which is really funny, given your finger is still nestled in her tongue. No, I would not. I do want vampire princesses. Like, that's like a double. You know what I mean? You just hit the jackpot with that one. I don't know what you mean by that exactly, but I've heard this is the best way to take care of cuts. My nursemaid used to do this for me when I was a child. That is what you were supposed to do. And then you ask, and your voice maid clutching your voice catching in your Lunenburg. Listen, I'm just saying Celeste had good taste. Celestia Lunenburg had amazing taste, dude. And your voice catching your throat. Did her nursemaid keep staunching her wounds with her mouth when she grew older? Well, no, but my nursemaid was dismissed when I was 8 years old. That is the normal way of things. I had my lady's maid to look after me then. How interesting. Did they ever clean her wounds like this? No, the princess says, smiling mischievously. Because I am not clumsy enough to cut myself, silly. Now, that was quite the sharp retort. You did not expect it. Your face turns even redder, if thing was possible, though this perhaps might be to your benefit. With some luck, all of your blood will flow to your face, rather than your finger, and the bleeding will stop. As it stopped, your injury was not a deep one. There should be no need for the princess to keep suckling, but she still is. You're not accustomed to the intimacy of this nature, but it is making your heart flutter. If the princess knew what her mouth was doing to you, that she was... Oh my god. If the princess knew what her mouth was doing to you, you were sure she would not be so very familiar. You feel quietly, crushingly, the confident that she would scorn you for your feelings and deem them unnatural. It would not be the first time. At this point, you should be used to rejection. It still stings, though. Still stings so much more than any thorn on any rose could. The days passes, following your misadventures in the rose garden, a relaxed, unhurried sort of the manner. If a girl actually did that to me, I'd feel bad for the girl. Oh no, I'm not a germaphobe, but like I am aware my hands are dirty most of the time. You know what I mean? Like I wash them after I go to the bathroom and stuff, but you gotta think of all the stuff I touch in the meantime. You know what I mean? I would be down horrible. Yeah, I have no idea what my reaction would be. I would be like down bad. Like guys, I talk a big game on stream, you know what I mean, when it comes to being rizzed up and stuff. But I would fucking crumble in this situation. Like any gal that makes a move on me, it's over. I lost. You know what I mean? Like I am a weak man. Like my shit would be dead within a week. Your mad dash through the forest is beginning to feel like a distant memory, so much so that you could scarcely recall the raw, naked fear that you once felt as you fled for your life. There is no running to be done when you had been working for the princess. You have nowhere else to run. In any event, there is no longer any reason to run. The shadows which once tormented you at long last began to recede. You can scarcely recall, as you lay down on your bed, the petty cruelties that you were subjected to by your classmates at the conservatoire. They no longer matter. Your attention is focused not upon yourself, but upon the princess. The more time you expend with her, the more time you come to care for her. You become right besotted with her, yet you are yet to realize it. Well, I never. How very ignorant can one girl be of her own feelings? The princess is not half as ignorant as you are, though, despite having her whole life within the castle's walls. You're anemic, dude. They would fucking kill you, Henry. It'd be like Imperfect Cell. The weight of her own feelings are not unknown to her, and during this stormy night, she chooses to make them known to you. Is she gonna fucking rizz me up again? You are in the princess's chambers later. Perhaps you ought to be later than it is strictly appropriate. It is dark outside, and little save the light is in the moon of alleviated. The fire of crackles in the grate. You have only just finished stoking that very fire, and you now rise. You look to the princess, who is lying in her bed. You bid her a good night, as you have many nights past. With a neat curtsy, you turn to leave, but the princess's plaintive voice gives you pause. Wait, dear one, do not go, just yet. Perplexed, you pause, then you look back at the princess. Though she is smiling, her expression is unusually wan. Is she alright? Oh, I'm sure I'll be fine. It's just nights like this, that make me feel a little out of sorts. And what do you ask? Does she mean by that? Only that it's very cold and very dark, and it is very windy. Besides, I'm afraid there'll be a storm later. It was awfully cloudy earlier when we went out for our walk. The princess is not mistaken about that. When the pair of you promenaded to the gardens earlier, which was gray and steely, the wind biting excessively cold. You can hear the wind rattling mournfully across the panes in the princess's bedchamber. The princess's castle is built of stone, and is well fortified, even with the fire. It is rather cold. You do not like to think of it how much chillier by comparison will be in your own humble bedchamber, which is fortunate enough not to have its own fireplace. It might sound childish, but I've always found it hard to sleep on stormy nights like this. They make me feel uncomfortable. You look at the princess with no small degree of sympathy. No longer clad in her bright red dress, she looks oddly uncommonly vulnerable. Will she really be alright in her own oversized bed in her high-ceiling bedchamber? You notice silly on you to contemplate such a query. Why would she not be alright? There's nobody in the castle to hurt her, but still, you fret for her. As her lady's maid, it is your job to fret for her. You would never want to make your mistress to feel unhappy. Cuddles, dude. Dude, it's easy peasy. Then she invites you to... It's fellas. Dude. I was promised Yuri, and I'm getting it. You ask the princess what she would have you do, and the princess perks up at this. Please, perhaps that is what you're taking the initiative. I wouldn't like to take too much of your time when it is so very late. Yeah, fanfic. Yeah, dude. Ball knows ball. But would you mind sitting with me for a little while longer, reading to me, provided that you can, of course? This is a fair enough question, but your pride bristles regardless. Hastily, you assure the princess, yes, of course you can read. I like the fact that the idea that even if we couldn't read, that's still not a turn-off to the princess. You were a poor student in many aspects of the conservatoire, but you have something of a gift when it came to the literary arts. Reading books, is all you have ever been good at. Oh, I see. So perhaps I should have known. You are incredible. Sometimes even wonder if there's anything you can't do. Hee hee. The princess's high praise make you flush, and awkwardly... Hold up, android. Right? Dude! I'm just saying, tonight's thumbnail very well might be one of my best. Andre, you came in at the good part, too. The princess's high praise makes you flush, and awkwardly you look away. I mean, I can barely read, I feel like. I mean, like, I can barely, like, if I was writing without my autocorrect, it gets all fucked up. Being able to read, you reassure her, is not such a great feat, eh? Perhaps it isn't just where you hail from, but here it is one of the very few of my servants could read. They certainly couldn't read the books that I like. This piques your interest. Intrigued you at the princess, what exactly books does she like? Well, I'm glad you asked. I'm fond of fairy tales, you see, the old ones from century past. I have a collection of them here, Princess says, indicating a book on her bedside table, as thick as a mortar-sorry slab. The book is old, though, and the bindings are weak, the pages are brittle, and the writing is woefully old-fashioned. I didn't trust any of my past servants with that book, but I think you would do a good job breathing life into those old stories. Would you mind reading it to me, just for a brief while, please, dear one, oh please? The princess's request seems simple, expressed so sweetly, so much so you refuse to be You take a seat beside the princess upon her luxurious bed, which sinks beneath your weight. Then you retrieve the leather book bound and resting upon her bedside table and spread it open. The pages of the book are very brittle, like the princess has said, and the bindings of the book are loose. You could feel the heft of the book in the manifold pages, the weight of the ages concealed within it. How old is this book? Perhaps it is old as the castle which it resides. With a quiet voice, hesitant at first, you began to read to the princess a tale of courtly love, which culminates in a lavish wedding ceremony. All the while, as you read, the princess listens to you, enraptured and hanging, and so it seems to be on your every word. Once you reach the final phase, embosomed upon the pages of this aged tome, and they lived happily ever after, the princess sighs, though this tale has touched her very soul. Would that there was a handsome prince to marry me, she says, or better yet, a beautiful princess at this point. I think I would even settle for a lowly, scurly maid. So she's trying to rizz us up here, and it's working, at least for me. I don't know how it is for you fellas, but... You blush at this idle remark and mumbly softly this would not be proper. Dude, I like... This is just so obvious, you know what I mean? The storm outside is still qualling, and you've never been one to raise your voice. You do not expect, therefore, the princess will overhear you, but she does. She observes you, her head resting against her pillows, and says, "And what would be the problem as that? As my maid, shouldn't my happiness comes before any silly ideas of propriety?" "Well, of course," you reply, "but for a princess to marry a scullery maid..." "You're still hung up about that?" the princess titters. "Don't pay it too much heed, I'm just talking to myself." As if anything like that would happen, there is no priest around who would officiate it. You think there are greater issues with the princess's plan of the lack of priests, but she does present a good point. The castle is an empty one. I mean, like, how much more obvious does she have to get about it? Like, I don't know how dense her player character is, but dog, you gotta let her rizz us up. Even if the princess were to find somebody that you would love, there is nobody to make the wedding official. You cannot help but feel like you avoided a good deal of nuance. But by the same token, do you not feel a touch disappointed? Well, never mind. That was a nice story, the princess says, but I'm not sleepy yet, and it's still storming outside. Won't you read me one more? Would you not mind, you reply. It's getting late. You really ought to return to your own chamber. I know, but can't you find in your heart to read one story to me? Just one. You can choose a short one. I won't complain. Well, she already said that she lived alone, that all her maids disappeared. You have some doubts about that, but as before, you cannot resist the princess's demands. It is not, you think, because she is a princess, that is of course a part of it, but because she is, well, radiant. You would not want to think that you would turn to your next stories recounted in this age like a pendant you would want to incept her. You would rather cut off your own tongue. You read another story to the princess, which is a similar vein of the last one. Impossible adventures culminating at their close in a happy marriage. This tale delights the princess just as much as the tale you read prior, and she begs for another, then another. One bedroom story becomes 5, and even then, when the candles flicker out, the princess's bedside are close to glittering out. The princess is not satisfied. Well, she said that her parents died, and maybe the subjects are in the village. She said she's never been out of the castle, and then all the people, disappeared. They explained it, Henry. But no, you were more focused on being down bad. I still think vampire. I still think vampire's on the table. Like grasping a neat, greedy child, she has never heard of moderation. She said, yeah, dude, she said her parents died. No, we're halfway, we're only having half an hour left, so you'll be able to nap soon. When she wants something, she seeks to glut herself with it. That is the only request of more. If she were less calmly, perhaps her inability to adhere to the word no would be seen as a character defect. The princess calmly, however, and so when she makes the next request, you almost agree offhand without considering the ramifications. I think I could go to sleep now, but the storm is still raging. I'd feel lonely on my own, in this big, empty bed, so... I know, the princess lights up in the night sky. Why don't you sleep with me? Dude, player character, pass the ball if you're not gonna play. I swear to God, you better say yes, though. Dude. You stare at the princess, your eyes wide as goose eggs. Slowly you blink, then just as slowly you bid her to repeat herself. Didn't you hear me? The princess giggles. Maybe you've been so busy cleaning up after me, neglected to clean out your own ears. I said, dear one, would you like to sleep with me? Pass the ball if you're not gonna play. If that is the question she truly means to ask, then it is easy enough to answer. Of course you would like to sleep with her. It would be an honor. But would it really be right for you to accept such an invitation? Yes! Listen, she said yeah. We're good. It must be gross of breachment of fuck protocol! Who's here to tell you no? Fuck protocol! Must be surly for a lowly domestic as yourself to share a bed with a princess. You sit upon the princess's bedside, fretting while she observes you with wide, beseeching eyes. She is waiting. Well, what is the matter, dear one? Why do you tarry so? Could it be... You know what I mean? She invited you! You're good! You're good! She asked you! You're good! The princess's lower lip begins to tremble. Don't you want to lie with me after all? The sorrow present in the princess's voice and her face makes you feel awfully guilty. Oh, what up, Alex the silly? Welcome back. Hurriedly, you console her. You tell her in no uncertain terms, if she truly wishes for you to partake in your company, then you have no qualms about it. Why would you? Well then, don't just stand there dilly-dallying. Come on, join me, come. The cameo appearance. What was the last stream you were in? Once a month? Is it really once a month? I feel like it's once every other. I can't remember the last one you were in. And that is what you do, after returning briefly to your own chamber to change into your nightgown. Once dressed, you waste no time in returning to your impetuous princess's side. She is already laying in her chloroform... I get it. Henry, I think the last one you missed was a FNAF one, because I remember after Deltarune you were able to come for all of them. She is already lying in her glorious bed, waiting for your return when you are a knight with air and ready to slay some wicked dragon. The princess giggles when she sees you, and hates the change that you made a hush of buttons. She bids you to come closer. Oh, that's good. I'm glad to hear that, Alex. Oh no, you say. I couldn't possibly let you do that. I am but a servant at all. Should it not be your job to dress her? Maybe so, the princess says, but I don't mind a bit of role reversal when it makes things more fun. Hee hee. You try a few more refutations, but in vain. The princess suddenly discards all of them. Quite at the princess's mercy, she might have been more stubborn than you are. You capitulate her to her demands. You let the princess unbutton in front of your nightdress, and then rebutton them, so the fabric of your plain gown is drawn shut. Satisfied with her handiwork, she has very elegant hands. The princess draws back and puts the mattress beside her. Her hair is so gold. I am a fan of the princess's hair. Now, come in. It must be horribly cold out there. These sheets are warm. Coyly, the princess smiles. And so am I. Dude. Okay. This is kind of getting hard not to be down bad, fellas. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm trying to stay locked in here. Trying to stay locked in, but it is kind of getting hard. And I'm not going to lie. You feel warm yourself. You slide into the bed beside the princess. Your face is as red as the gown that the princess so often wears, as red as the roses in the castle gardens. You can do it, soldier. Lock in, dude. I don't know I can do this, guys. All the while, your heart is fluttering. Does the princess knows what effect she's having on you? Surely she must. How could any woman be so blind? There, the princess exclaims once your body is lying beside hers. That is much better. Don't you feel cozy now, dear one? You swallow, and with a shaky voice, you reassure her. Is that not a dude, I'm sorry. That got me. Yes, you are cozy. You are cozy indeed. I thought cozy was spelled with a Z. Very good. The storm might be raging outdoors, but it can't get us in here. I know when I'm with you, I'll feel safe. It is strange, but the princess reaches out, then takes your hand in hers, twining your fingers together like a chain. When I'm with you, I feel so very light, as if nothing in the world can hurt me. You make me feel safe, so I want to make you feel safe, too. I'll take very, very good care... Oh my god. I'll take very, very good care of you, I promise. You return her smile with one of your own, touched by her thoughtfulness, and something about her promise does make you wonder. Should it not be your job to look after her as a domestic? In a way, the princess replies, after a pause, but you've been taking very good care of me already. Now, I need to return the favor. As a princess, I'm supposed to look after my vessels. It is all part of the job description, hee hee. She's supposed to be British? Oh, fuck, never mind. Nah, I'm kidding. You are unaware, feeling the princess came up with the job description. You thought professionalism came with fewer written responsibilities and far fewer forms to sign any, becoming a doctor and a physicist or a mathematics professor. You tell the princess this sleepily, and she laughs. You do say some funny things, dear one. I think you must be tired. Rest your head. You've been working so hard. I think you deserve it. Yes, you think, only half conscious. You think you deserve it too. You have been working hard for a long time, have been running for even longer, but now at long last you feel like you can let your fears go. Your eyelids begin to drop, your body mislaid by a sudden all-consuming fatigue. I can't do a British accent. I was in Mary Poppins Jr. and I was supposed to be German. I just couldn't do any accent. No, I can do accents, but they come off very, very racist, so I can't do them. You know what I mean? So I cannot do a British accent. I am, there is a German part of me. British? Oi, mate. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? They just come off stereotypical. Doesn't help that I'm very white, too. So, any accent I do, just, I can do a pretty good Scottish accent, though. Because I am a little bit of Irish in me. I can do a really good southern twang. Alright, anyway, in a quiet, understanding sort of way, your consciousness is conveyed in the Morpheus Kingdom. Your sleep is a deep one, and despite the storm which rages outdoors, the wind is howling like a couple of wild cats, both locked in a vicious battle and a bloodthirsty bout to the death, but you do not hear it. I do love a German accent, though. I do love an accent. Swaddled by the storm, swaddled by blankets around you, and soothed by the princess's presence, you are immune from all the ills of the world. When you are with the princess, you feel safe, warm, and secure, and, yes, you even feel loved. Ah. It is a pity, then, that these feelings do not last for very long. Wait, no, what happened? You wake up to something that's wrong, catastrophically so. The moment you open your eyes, your thoughts are hopelessly jumbled, and when you fell asleep in the bed of a nice warm, no less beneath comfortable sheets. Did we get kidnapped? You are not lying in bed right now, though. You are not, in fact, lying at all. Oh god, there's the staff. Oh fuck. Oh jeez. You are standing instead in against a cold, hard wall made of stone. The curve of your back pressed against the wall so intimately you could feel an icy chill sleeping through the fabric of your nightgown. Your feet are which bare, seamlessly pressed against the cold, unfeeling tone. They feel so frigid that you cannot help but tremble. You're trembling so much you could feel your teeth chattering together. They sound like a suicide. I don't know, something. I'm still holding on to being down bad. Hold on, wait a minute. Let's not be overzealous here. The sound is almost jaunty as it echoes through yourself, or as you is indeed where you are. The princess's bedchamber, where you fell asleep, is a thing now of the past. You are standing instead, as you realize, in a sharp tent of the cell. It was some great underground dungeon. You swallow. When you do, you can taste something bitter on your tongue. Your stomach is beginning to churn with anxiety. Gotta slime out the princess? I don't think that's gonna be happening, fellas. Fellas. I think you guys are overestimating or underestimating how down bad I can be. Is this a bad time to mention that I unironically listen to Yandere ASMR audios? Is this a bad time to mention? You feel like you're going to be sick. Well, look at, but how nice are the chains, though? You are not, you realize, the only one in the dungeon. There are others here, other attired in simple black and white outfits as servants. You look much like the dress you once wore. The others who are with you, however, in the expansive cell, monoculed to the walls, are no fit to speak to you, nor tell you of their plights. No, wait a minute. We don't know what the dungeon is yet. Let's wait for the princess to talk to us before we make any harsh judgment, alright? They're unfeeling, unseething, unbreathing. Those guys might have just have been weak. You know what I mean? They are all dead. We don't know that. You cannot approach these servants to check their pulses, for you are yourself restrained, but even if you could, there would be no point. There is no way any human could survive the wounds which have been inflicted upon these said slumped bodies. Over there you see a woman slumped upon her, for once her white-stained apron stained with blackish blood. There is gaping wound in her stomach, one with which her entrails are half escaped, but something begrudgingly goop which might have been pale pink. There's another woman, slumped besides the first smaller of stature, skinnier. She might not be a woman after all, but an adolescent like yourself. She might even be younger. The girl's age, or lack of, did not... You still got hope? Yeah, I got hope, fellas. I can make this come back. There's compromises in every relationship. You know what I mean? Her body is peppered with even more wells, and her face has been half smashed in. Only one eye remains, staring fixedly at the wall opposed to her. The ruined remains of what once was her skull. So, underlevel fellas, listen, I got this. It's gonna be okay. You know what I mean? It's gonna be okay, fellas. Where half her legs have gone, you have no idea. The injuries half inflicted upon these bodies are ghastly, but their advanced decay is enough to turn your stomach. You know, this is just roleplay, fellas. This is just roleplay. We don't discriminate. We do not kink shame. You're gonna be fine. But know that the carcasses have been lying down here, but they go to petrify. You fear if a similar fate might befall you if you stay here. You need to escape. Fitfully, you struggle against the manacles that bind you, but alas, there is no use. You cannot free yourself from the walls. Your restraints are much too strong and are much too weak. Panic rises upon your throat. Cold and icy will terror seize you to the glacial. This is obvious that you escape is impossible, but you squirm and writhe like a cat, caught in a firestorm. There's a little point, however, to your struggles. Listen, some people like feet, some people like thighs, some people like being chained up in a dungeon. You know what I mean? We don't discriminate, as long as both parties are consenting. You know what I mean? You gasp. That hurts. Well, you ought to know that would not have worked. The very definition of insanity, you know, is performing a set of action and over again, hoping for a different response. We don't know that it isn't consensual yet, though. Let's just hold off before we judge the princess, guys, alright? In that sense, perhaps one could argue that optimism is not so very different from insanity. Now, an interesting point to consider, would you not agree? No, evidently not. You're still trying to escape, you foolish girl, as if that will do you any good. The clangor of Israeli's steely restraints are starting to get on my nerves. You are not making enough noise to raise the dead down there in your dark, dingy cell. Your screaming hardly helpful matters. I wish that you could cease this infernal racket, but I know that you will not. Nothing I could say ever get through to you. Not that you've ever listened to me in the first place. Perhaps you would listen to her, though. Is she not your kind, considerate mistress? Alright, see, she'll explain this for you. Let's try. Alright, let's just relax for a second. Let's just relax and see what the princess's explanation is, alright? Depending on what the princess says, right, she's literally pretty, guys. Listen, let's just hear her out first, right? Just let's hear her out. Look, Ness, she's come all this way into the dark depths of the castle's cold and hospitable dungeon to see you. Is that not kind of her? Oh, dear one, the princess trills, entering the dungeon. It seems you have finally awoken. How are you? Based on all that infernal racket you've been making, it would seem that you have no shortage of energy. Balefully, you turn your head so you meet the eyes of the princess. Listen, everybody's all about women's rights, but what about women's wrongs? Listen, if you are a true person of acceptance... She's standing a few paces away beneath a roughly hewn stone arch, one big entries, but rarely ever exit to the dungeons. No, listen, I am being a Ted Bundy defender with this one. You know what I mean? But hold on, well, wait a second. It hurts you to look at her. Once the red of the princess outfits made you think of romance, now it makes you think of violence. You must forgive me for leaving you down here for so long. That was unfair of me. I did not think of waiting here with you by your side until you awoke, but... Once again, the princess giggles, a lightly airy giggle that does not at all suit the situation you have been for. You have found yourself. A dungeon is not a fit place for a princess. It is horribly cold here and so very dark, and there is nowhere nice and soft to lay my head. I could have brought my pillows down here for my bed, I suppose, and my blankets, but if they had gotten dirty, that would have been a disaster. I just need to be more careful. I wouldn't have anybody left to clean up my messes, not when I've dispatched the view. Once again, the princess's laugh, her laughter okay, fellas, I don't think this is gonna save us. Hold on, wait a minute. Once again, the princess's laugh, her laughter lifting and chiming of silvery bell, but it does not much to alleviate your... Now, hold on, I'm gonna wait for her to finish her thought. If anything makes you feel even more alarmed, did she say she meant to dispatch of you? Yes, that's right, can you not tell? I thought you might have figured it out already. After waking up in a dungeon ceiling. Aw, fuck. Aw, jeez. Aw, fuck. Fellas, hold on. I need to bring up a meme real quick. Hold on. I need to bring up a meme. So, fellas, I need you guys to understand my thought process here. My dick has led me to places I wouldn't even go with a gun. This is one of those places, fellas. Listen, I need you guys to understand this from my perspective. I need you guys to understand my perspective. Like, listen. I don't expect you guys to understand this thought process. But we've been in worse situations before. Alright. Still smiling, the princess takes another step towards you. With that, you would cringe away from her, but you cannot. You're completely powerless. Guys, it's the lady from the thumbnail. The princess reaches out and places a hand upon your cheek. Her skin is very white, and her touch is cool. It is no less frigid than air the dungeon. Though your body is aching, the princess's touch is gentle, and you find yourself leaning into it subconsciously. You wish she would keep holding you. You wish she would keep touching you. You luxuriate her kindness the best you can, but though the princess' caresses are tender, your circumstances rather undermine them. How can you relax like this? Ah, you're such a good... Oh my god, guys. Guys, we can't do this. Ah, you're such a good girl, the princesses say, cajoling in sort of voice that you, as one might address a cat. You've been so lovely to me while we've been together. I really couldn't ask for a better servant. I feel though as I've been spoiled. Why then, you ask her, is she doing this? Improbable as it may sound, she may have been the one who chained you up, but there's something else, nobody else in the castle that might have continued such a feat. Burns, lock in. Chat begging me to lock in. Everybody else is dead. Why, yes, how very astute of you. I was the one who orchestrated all of this naturally. Naturally, she says, as though her betrayal is a matter of course. Naturally. Why, you ask this, is so natural to her. What does she mean to do with you? Oh, what I've done to all my other servants. Okay, so he might be dead. With the experience with this, so please don't worry. I'll take good care of you. And take good care of, she means? Naturally, I'll kill you. Okay, I'm no longer into this. Okay, I'm no longer into this. We now need... Alright, now... This is where the red flag is coming. So now we have to escape. I can't be a freak if I'm dead. You know what I mean? I can't lick toes if I'm dead. You know what I mean? If this was like, we can negotiate like other stuff, but death is like, I can't live past death. You know what I mean? That's where you draw. Yeah. Yeah, I'd say that's right. I think that's a pretty good line though, Alex. Death, you know. There it is again, that word that seems grossly inappropriate for which all has transpired. There's still, like, we're at a 5 when it comes to danger. There's still a 1 when it comes to, like, alright, well, hold on. Not the corpses, those could be props. Listen, those maids could have just been bad maids. You know what I mean? What if I'm the special one? What if I'm the favorite and get to live? Doesn't that just make me feel better? Naturally. There's nothing natural about this. Do you not think so? The princess examines you, her expression ponderous. It is natural to me, even if it isn't natural to other people. This just feels right. Imprisoning her servants in a dungeon and letting them to die. Yes, exactly. There is a bit more to it than that, though. Oh, of course there is. I like you, dear one, the princess says in a voice uncommonly serious. You have been good to me, like I said, and kind, and for that I will be eternally appreciative. You've been good, so good to me that simply being with you is not good enough, not anymore. Your company can no longer content me. I'm a greedy, selfish girl, you see. The princess smiles widens into something sinister, her eyes flashing with fiendish fever as you've never seen before witness. And I don't want to feel you beside me. I want to feel you inside me. Okay, I'm kind of going back away. She's kind of getting me back in her camp. Inside you, pause. Wait a minute, hold on. Well, of all the things your charming captive has said, you did not expect that. The princess, perhaps. Maybe this is all just a bit of role play, a little foreplay. The princess giggles, perhaps. Begins to giggle, a giggle even lighter than Mandarin and just as airy, and just as inoffensive. I could see that you don't understand, dear one, but you aren't the only one. My last lady's maid said that too. Wanly, the princess sighs, bitterly a woe-is-me sigh that makes her look even younger than the scant handful of years she truly possessed. And the one before that, and the one before that, and the one before that. No, that is just Henry. Don't worry. He's not... Trust me, this isn't anything special. Just earlier today, he called me his teddy bear. Don't worry. That is just Henry. That is just Henry, Alex. We don't enable him. We just gotta ignore it. You know what I mean? I thought that you at least might be able to appreciate my point of view, but perhaps not. I don't think it should be too complicated to grasp, really. But maybe my way of looking at the world is a bit unique. That is, my nurse always used to say to me when she used to breathe to speak, of course. You look at the princess, where else will you look really? Your eyes are fixated to her face. She's still smiling, but there's something sinister about her smile. No, Henry's the volunteer. Or perhaps you, in your ancient state, you're only imagining that there's something sinister about her smile. A disease. So what do you mean inside you, though? Because she either wants to eat me, or this is foreplay. You know what I mean? There's two things here. It is easy to see things that are not easily existed when your surroundings are fashioned in the shadows. In actuality, however, the princess does not look anything different than how she usually does. Neither does she acting any completely differently to the way she acts. She has not changed, it is only your perspective that has been changed. Tremendously, you ask the princess what she means. The question for the princess is only it's simple, really. Like I said, you were wondering. Weren't you why there any guards or any servants or anyone first arrive here? The question had crossed her mind. Yes, you were sure that the princess had ministers sent them away, though. Was that a lie? I wasn't being wholly truthful, though. I thought you'd be afraid of me if you knew exactly what happened. I didn't want that. I wanted you to stay with me. My ministers didn't send anybody away because I don't have any ministers. I dispatched them, too. Did she now? You're supposed to not to be surprised, but you still shudder regardless. My ministers weren't very fun, but I am afraid... Alright, Henry, you're back at a 10. I'm gonna need you to go down with a 4. Alright, you're back at a 10. I'm gonna need you to be at the 4 right now, alright? My ministers weren't very much fun, I'm afraid. They had a lot of ideas about what I should and shouldn't do after my parents died. The princess stares at you, her eyes wide like black holes, empty yawning abysses. So I killed them. I killed my servants too, though I did more thorough job with them than I did my ministers. I did not care for my ministers, you see. They were all fusty old men, but I did love my servants. I loved my ladies' maids, and my undermaids, and my scullinary maids, and my housekeeper, my cooks, and the large renitude of retainers. They were like my family. They raised me in my parents' absence, and I adored them. They were also very dear to me, and I had no real choice. I had to... Oh, okay, so yeah, alright, we're out. I'm out. I'm out, fellas. She wants to eat me. I'm not into that. I'm not into that. I gotta... I'm out. I'm out of here. No, she didn't kill her parents. She killed her maids. Her parents died. I'm out. Does that follow? Not logically, no. Why, you ask the princess, your voice trembling, why would you eat the people that you love? It seemed a poor way to repay them for their kindness. Well, we did guess vampire. Well, why wouldn't you eat the people that you love? I don't think there could be any greater way of showcasing one's gratitude, unless you have any better ideas. You weren't expecting the princesses to turn the tables on you, and I light downfounded, you stare at her. You know precious little about love yourself, and it's hard for you to form convincing rebuttal, but you muster up a few token arguments. You tell the princess that eating people isn't very nice, and it very isn't strictly legal. And a better way to show your gratitude to your servants would be with increased wages, or increased holidays. The princess listens to your arguments, but as her expression does too, like a student poised to take notes from a very important lecture. Once you're finished, however, the concentration on her face fails her. Her shoulders begin to shake, but not with remorse for what she does, but instead she is laughing. Oh, dear one, that is very funny, but why should I care about the law? I'm a princess. One day I'll be queen. I am the law. We are cooked, fellas, and unfortunately, I do mean that literally, if she is going to eat us. Henry, I don't know how I feel about that one. Is that a good point? But what would eating people not turn your subjects against her? What subjects? I'm no fool. You know, no matter how might I act, and what happens beyond the castle walls. I know all about the plague. Once I might, a populace govern. But they all are gone now. I am a princess with nothing, name only, a monarch without any subjects. Don't you think that's sad? I know, it's so woefully lonely. If she feels lonely, then why has she been subsequently slaughtering all her domestics? It wouldn't make a lick of sense. Perhaps not to you, but gently the princess caresses your cheek. But I shouldn't judge you too harshly. As much as I like you, dear one, you are a commoner. Perhaps you can't understand the intricacies of my thoughts. Privately, you doubt that anybody would be able to understand the intricacies of the princess's thoughts, largely because it is unreasonable. Dude, listen, I've been told I'm being caked up, but this is ridiculous. I've been told I'm a snack, but I never thought like this. You do not say that, though. You ask her why the only question you could think of to your ask, which is sore from shouting. Why? Why, you ask? The princess blinked. Because I don't want you to leave me, of course. Dog, I was already not gonna leave. I was already not gonna leave. Everybody leaves me sooner or later, whether they pledge their allegiance to me or not. That is simply the way of the world. People are fickle and inconsistent. Even to me, a monarch. That is why I decided to eat my servants. I had no choice, you see. It was the only way to ensure that they would never leave me. When you think about it, they should be grateful what I demean myself to, could consume their flesh and blood. I am a magnanimous ruler, you see, and I treat all my subjects equally. I love every single one of you, and naturally, I love you too. You have been awfully nice to me, and you are very pretty alongside it. Dude, she's still trying to rizz me up. So does that mean I'm the favorite, though? If you were a plain ugly girl, perhaps I would not shatter you with affection as intense as this, but you've captured my heart. I think you're lovely. Fuck. No, lock in, Mikey, lock in, Mikey. Lock in, Mikey, lock in, Mikey, lock in, Mikey. I might be lovely, but I'm not food. Fish are friends, not food. I am not food. So I will bestow upon you the highest honor I can conceive of. I want your... Oh my god. I want your body to mix with mine, then we could stay together forever and ever. The princess leans in, you can feel it. What if I ate you, though? Right? The princess leans in, you can feel her soft, silken, brazen hair press her cheeks. You can feel, too, the warmth of her breath that goes against your skin. It is cold in the dungeon, but the princess's close proximity, perverse though this might sound, is something of a comfort. Her eyes wide and lips are so red. Her smile, meanwhile, so sweet. Why are you at, freak? If we eat her, though, we get to leave. You know, hear me out, fellas. If we eat her, right, we win. Right? She gets what she wants. We're together forever. And we get to live. I feel like we should... Like, this is our compromise here. I've been doing my best to fulfill the role that fate has dictated for me, but really? The princess exhaled, her eyes, which are boring into yours like two dark tarns. Finally, I think I can see the alarming lack of light, the lack of anything. The princess's grays some humanity. It gets so lonely here. But this brief flicker of understanding which passes beneath the pair of you is cut short. The princess dips her head. She parts her lips, which are red as the petal of the carnivorous flower. You feel the princess's breath against your neck as it warm and icily chill in front of it. For a second, you think this overture of the princess could be romantic in a way. But this, too, comes to a swift, merciless close. The princess's mouth is on your neck. The princess's teeth as sharp as needle are in your flesh. The princess is draining your blood. She is supplying out the great greedy goblets like a hungry animal who cannot truly comprehend the harm it's causing. Even as the princess sups from you, her arms twined to wind your race, you cannot find the hate for her. She is far too unworldly. You are sure conscience enough begins to fade that the princess is sincere, the poke of her love of the past servants. This is simply the way the princess expresses the great love of hers, a love that is which so readily abundant it pours out of her. It can love that you never thought that you would experience. This love of the princess eclipses everything else you have ever known before. It eclipses sanity, it eclipses reasons. It eclipses all notions you might have of right or wrong. The princess, as you know full well, does not care about such concepts. You have always possessed a stubborn core nestled between your weak-willed exterior, but the princess is even stubborner than you. In the face of her love, you have met your match. The princess draws back desperately as you grasp her air, but she does not give you any quarter. As before, she dips her lips redder still with your blood and splits her jaw. Her teeth, which impossibly inhumanly sharp, glint wickedly like knives. Then she tears at your throat. The front of your nightgown was right once, but now it is red. There is so much blood you could smell it when you inhale, sharper than metal. It is so potent you can taste it on your tongue. So we're dead. You try to inhale, but it proves to be beyond your skin, with the twin perforations of ruptured your skin. You attempted breaths and sprung over your lips, like said sorry wheezes. Your whole body, meanwhile, feels though it's on fire. You make for quite the sorry sight indeed, but you'll forgive me if my sympathy is limited. You did bring this upon yourself, you know. You reap what you sow. In your case, you made a series of bad decisions, what ultimately led to your I had one choice in this game, and that was go to the castle. I had no other choices here. I want that on the record that I made one actual choice in this game, and that was go to the castle. They did not give me a chance to leave. Now, what do you want to do? Will you accept this fate of yours and rest in peace, or will you try to fight against it? I don't know what do we do, fellas? I want to see both. I want to see both. Fight. So fight first. That is a good answer, I must admit, I like it. Impressive how very defiant you could be, even in a situation as discomforting as this. Now, try not to cry. Keep your chin up. This is but a minor setback in your story. Like all fair maidens, you are deserving of your own happy ending. You only need the strength to try to seek it out. Why don't we give this another goal? Just try not to stare the hearts of any more monarchs, particularly with those unusual appetites. You are destined for higher purposes than being an entree. There are more enjoyable ways to be eaten in this world. Real. Your fate is once again in your hands. Now I wonder, which path will you take? Okay, so we're back here again. Alright, fellas, I'm gonna end it there today. Just because this is the start of the game. Alright, so it gets extras. What's the extras? Gallery. I still feel like we made the right call with the princess, fellas. I stand by it. I stand by it. Listen, it was all good until she decided to eat me. You know what I mean? Alright. You died? Sure! But everybody dies eventually. At least I died loved. At least I died being loved. But yeah, guys, that was It Gets So Lonely here. If you guys really like this series, we might try it again. Who knows? I'm assuming the other fates are just as horrible. I'm pretty sure one of them is a mermaid and the other one's like a peasant girl, so we'll try those two next. I don't know when I'll play this again. Depends when I have a free day. But yeah, fellas, that's all I have for you all today. Thank you all for watching. There's a couple things I want to talk to you guys about, though. Number one, I'm working on a new Five Nights at Freddy's video. I have the thumbnail done, I have some editing done, and recording done. So I'm hoping to get that out on, like, 1 week from today. So I got one video for you guys coming out. So that should be fun. Then on Tuesday, we will be playing The Quarters 2, so that should be fun. Then on Thursday, we'll be playing Slay the Spire, and then on Saturday next week, we will be playing The Walking Dead Season 3. I have an actual full schedule at work next week, so I won't have any extra streams for once. So yeah, it's finally nice to get to my regular work, so yeah. And fellas, we do have a members-only video out right now of the intro of the new video coming out that I'm working on. Becoming a member is only $3 if you guys do want to support me in that way. You guys don't have to do that, of course, because, you know, it is only $2.99, and it is only the intro, so, you know. But I thought it would be fun to give members a sneak peek. So if any of you guys are considering becoming a member, there you go. You guys got some more content. I'm trying to give you guys more members content. But yeah, guys, thank you all for watching. Stay safe out there, and may the stars shine down upon you. Bye!